Hello guys, my name is Saurabh Tripathi and welcome to the Current Affairs Interceptor YouTube channel, and today is May 3rd. We are going to learn important current affairs. Who has been honored for outstanding contribution in corporate social responsibility? Dr. Beena Modi, Ramesh Pokhriyal, Arjun Agarwal or Vishwajit Kumar? So Dr. Beena Modi has been honored with corporate social responsibility for her outstanding contribution. She has supported education of girls through Project Khushi and extensively worked for farmers in Andhra Pradesh. Project Khushi has been launched in Maharashtra, and when it's come to farmers, she has worked for upliftment of farmers in rural Andhra Pradesh. She is managing director of Modi Enterprises KK Modi Group, and she has also won multiple awards. She has been honored with multiple awards such as Women Empowerment and Leadership, Outstanding Businesswoman of the Year, and many other such awards and recognitions. So Beena Modi, who is Managing Director of Modi Enterprises KK Modi Group, has been honored with Outstanding Contribution in Corporate Social Responsibility. Corporate Social Responsibility (CSR) refers to companies' voluntary actions to address social and environmental concerns. Means company which makes profit takes notice of various social issues, environmental issues such as issues related to education, issues related to tribal upliftment, issues related to women and young girls in rural areas for their education, for their skill training. These kinds of initiatives are done by companies as under CSR initiative. It is about contributing positively to society. Mandatory requirement in India, Companies Act 2013 mandates certain companies to spend portion of their profits on CSR activities. CSR means corporate social responsibility, and these focus areas are cover education, healthcare, environment, rural development and women empowerment as we discussed above. So CSR initiatives. So once again, Dr. Beena Modi has been honored for outstanding contribution in corporate social responsibility. National Council of Applied Economic Research NCAER has projected India's GDP growth rate 6%, 7%, 9% or 10%. So NCAER has projected India's GDP growth to 7% for 2025, for financial year 2025. Department of Administrative Reforms and Public Grievances DARPG has signed MOU to train 1500 officers from 2025 to 2030 of which country? Sri Lanka, Bangladesh, Nepal or Bhutan? So it is Bangladesh. Indian government and Bangladesh government has signed MOU to train 1500 officers of Bangladesh from 2025 to 2030 in various domains, and under Department of Administrative Reforms and Public Grievances DARPG. Indian Army and Puneet Balan Group will together collaborate to make India's first Constitution Park at New Delhi, Lucknow, Jaisalmer or Pune. So it is Pune. Indian Army and Puneet Balan Group will collaborate to make India's first Constitution Park at Pune. Which logistics services company has recently launched all women led hub in Rajasthan? ECOT, Blue Dart, Delivery or DTDC? These are the e-commerce companies, and they have multiple hubs such as regional hubs spread all over India, and through these hubs they transport the regional centers, and from these regional centers they ensure doorstep delivery of products. So entire hub is led by women, and it is in Sikar district of Rajasthan, and this company is called Delivery. So Delivery Sikar hub will be all women led hub. India Israel has conducted joint drill to enhance preparedness at Tel Aviv, New Delhi, Mumbai or Chennai. Recently India and Israel has conducted joint drill in New Delhi to enhance preparedness and cohesiveness among India and Israel elite forces. This exercise was carried by National Security Guard, NSG commandos, and as we know, Israel capital is Tel Aviv, and currency is new shekel. Parliament of Israel, just like we call it Sansad Bhavan, is called Knesset, and president is Benjamin Netanyahu. Israel has one of the most advanced weapons and tech systems in whole world, and recently India and Israel has joined hand to enhance preparedness at New Delhi. Which country is the second largest jute producer in the world? India, Bangladesh, Nepal or China? So it is Bangladesh. India is the first or the largest producer of jute producer in whole world, followed by Bangladesh and various other countries. So please remember this, India is the largest producer of jute, followed by second number it Bangladesh. Let's have some understanding about it. Aluminium, India is the second largest producer of aluminium globally, and limestone, India is the third largest producer. Iron ore, India is the fourth largest producer, and bauxite, India is fifth largest producer, and mica, it is one of the largest producer of mica, a mineral used in various industries for insulating properties and glittery appearance. You know, mica can be used in wires and other various insulation purposes. Insulation means preventing transfer of heat or electricity from metal to other areas. And thorium, India has substantial reserve of thorium. It is a radioactive chemical that can be used as nuclear fuel. Chromite, India is a major producer of chromite, a mineral that is a main source of chromium. World Tuna Day is observed on 1st May, 2nd May, 3rd May or 4th May. So World Tuna is a fish species or type of fish, and World Tuna Day is observed on May 2nd every year to raise awareness about tuna conservation. And tuna is, as we know, is a saltwater fish, and it is rich in omega-3 fatty acids and various other minerals. So World Tuna Day is observed on May 2nd every year. China is testing third aircraft carrier recently, and what is its name? Sky Dragon, Sea Dragon, Fujian or Chengdu? So China is testing third largest carrier, and its name is Fujian. Aircraft carriers, as we know, it is a large ship, and suppose this is ship and it is a top view. Here towers is mounted, and this is a runway, and planes come here and land and park here in these areas. And this entire aircraft carrier can be taken to any part of ship, so it is kind of, you know, like moving island. You don't need airstrip in middle of ocean, you just park this and entire jets or ship can land here. Aircraft carriers are used to assert dominance in oceans, and China has launched recently third aircraft carrier. Basically it is under testing phase, but it is expected to soon commenced, and it is its third aircraft carrier. List of aircraft carriers by country. United States has 11 aircraft carriers. China has 2 aircraft carriers, third one is in induction phase. India has 2 aircraft carriers, INS Vikramaditya and INS Vikrant. Italy has 2, United Kingdom has 2, France has 1, or Russia has 1 aircraft carrier. So remember this, US has 11 aircraft carriers, followed by China and then India. These 5 countries are, you know, top military spender, and 916 billion, which is the largest in the world, and China spends 296 billion, Russia spends 109 billion, and India spends 83.6 billion. Saudi Arabia spends 75.8 billion dollar annually on defense or military spending. So India ranks at 4th positions, and US ranks at 1st position, China at 2nd, and Russia is at 3rd position with 1.09 billion dollar military spending. So once again, if you combine all these 4, it is far less than US spending. you can assume that US spends large amount of financial resources in military and various other purposes. According to data released by Commerce Ministry, what was the core sector growth in March 2024? 7.6%, 5.4%, 3.9% or 4.7%. So it was 5.4%. Core sectors are, which are crucial for economy, and India has notified 8 core sectors which impact Indian economy in a very significant manner. So let's discuss these. Electricity, steel, refinery products, crude oil such as petroleum, coal, cement. Cement is used in manufacturing and various other purposes. It directly affects GDP. Natural gas and fertilizers. Fertilizers, as you know, India is agricultural major country, and fertilizers play key role in production of agricultural output, which also impact its GDP. Natural gas, coal. Coal is used for power plants, and it is a crucial for Indian economy as most of the power stations are coal fired. Refinery products, once again, these products, once crude oil is processed through these refineries, they can be used for domestic purposes such as petroleum in vehicles, diesel. Steel is once again comes in infrastructure projects such as airports, households, and various other vehicle manufacturing, defense, and whatnot. Steel is a very important element in any nation's development and growth. Electricity is once again very much required for manufacturing, household, and various other consumptions. So these are the core 8 sectors of Indian economy, and according to data released by Commerce Ministry, in March 2024, it shows 5.4% of growth, which is lower than previous month. Brown economy term recently seen in the news. It is related to jaggery, millet, ocean or tobacco. So brown economy is related to ocean. It is not directly related to ocean, but it is related to sub activities related to ocean. Green economy, environmentally friendly and sustainable, as we know, name suggests. It includes sectors like renewable energy, waste management and organic farming. Grey economy also means an informal or unorganized sector. It includes small scale industries, businesses that are not regulated by the government. Black economy, this refers to economic activities that are not reported to the government for tax purposes. It includes illegal activities and tax evasion. And one is white economy. This is a legal and formal economy, and where rules and regulations are followed. It is opposite of black economy. So these are the 4 economy sectors. Terms are widely used: green economy, grey economy, black economy and white economy. White economy is a legal and formal economy. Black economy is opposite of white economy, means it is a hidden for tax purposes. It is used for tax evasion and illegal activities. Grey economy is informal and unorganized sector. It includes small scale industries and businesses that are not monitored by government. Green economy, as name suggests, it is a renewable energy, waste management and organic farming economy. Which African country has recently introduced gold currency recently? It is a very important question. Zimbabwe, Nigeria, Mozambique or Kenya? So it is Zimbabwe. Zimbabwe has recently introduced Zimbabwe gold, and it is African country. So let's have a look about it. So Zimbabwe is in South Africa. It is located here, and this is Mozambique, this is Madagascar, this is Tanzania. So this is Zimbabwe. The ZIZ is a new gold-backed currency introduced by Zimbabwe. Name stands as Zimbabwe Gold and its sign is ZIZ. The new banknotes come in denomination from 1 to 200. ZIZ replaces Zimbabwean dollar that has lost its 3/4 of its value so far this year. It means Zimbabwe dollar has lost most of its value, and that's why Zimbabwe gold has been lost to replace it. Zimbabweans have 21 days to exchange old notes, and capital of Zimbabwe is Harare, and it is a landlocked country in South Africa. Who has been recently taken charge as Vice Chief of Naval Staff? Krishna Swaminathan, DK Tripathi, Hari Kumar or Krishna Kumar? So it is Krishna Swaminathan. As we know, on 30th April, D.K. Tripathi, who was Vice Chief of Naval Staff earlier, became Chief of the Naval Staff on 30th April, and Hari Kumar earlier was Chief of Naval Staff, who has been retired. D.K. Tripathi is Chief of Naval Staff and Krishna Swaminathan is Vice Chief of Naval Staff. Please remember this, it is a very important question. These are the Indian Navy's commands and their headquarters. Western Naval Command headquarters is in Mumbai. Eastern Naval Command headquartered in Visakhapatnam, which is in Andhra Pradesh. Southern Naval Command, it is headquartered in Kochi, Kerala. And there is a Tri-Services Command in Andaman and Nicobar Island. It is very important. In this Tri-Services Command, Indian Air Force, Indian Navy, as well as Indian Army and Indian Coast Guard, all of these armed forces work in synchronization, work together, work in a joint manner, and this is a joint command. It is one of a kind. This is the only command which has all three services into one and act in a cohesive joint manner. So it is a Tri-Services Command and it is headquartered in Andaman and Nicobar Islands. Please remember this, it can be asked in exams. So these were today's current affairs. If you have any doubt or feedback, please let me know in comment section. I will answer your doubts and I will take your feedback into account. And please keep learning every day. Do not leave current affairs for last minute preparation. Current affairs require daily preparation, weekly practice, and as well as practicing quizzes throughout the day. It is all about building yourself layer by layer, then learning everything at once. I suggest you learn every day and try to make current affairs interesting in your own times. And I suggest you please keep learning every day. Do not leave current affairs for last minute preparation. Current affairs preparation requires daily practice, daily learning. Keep learning every day. And if you have enjoyed this video, please like and subscribe to this channel. It will help you in getting timely videos. So thank you for joining me today and have a great day.